Shalom, shalom, Aki and Akwas, brothers and sisters. Hope everybody's having a blissful day. Hope everything is going in your favor. I hope that you found strength, that you have time to be able to commune with the Most High, you know what I'm saying? And also be able to pray to the Lord, most definitely, right? Those who have overcome challenges or that are taking the gradual steps, you know what I'm saying, into becoming a better person, I most definitely am proud of you, you know what I'm saying? Just know that there's things that we battle with that not a lot of people see, but I'm proud of you, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we don't get to hear that, you know what I'm saying? Especially to my brothers, you know what I'm saying? We don't get to hear that as men, that, they are being proud of, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's proud of them, right? And so I just want to go ahead and drop that, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud of you, you know what I'm saying? Y'all are good fathers, you know what I'm talking about? Y'all are great motivators, you know what I'm saying? Y'all are just great men, you know what I'm saying? Great stewards over the blessings that has been bestowed upon you, you know what I'm saying? Via the Most High, most definitely. You know what I'm saying? Your skill and will to want to become a better person, you know what I'm saying, does not go unnoticed. So, you know what I'm saying, much love, and continue the journey of dedication, you know what I'm saying, to continue to aspire to be a greater person, a more mightier person than who you were yesterday. You know what I'm saying? To not allow your past to be able to, you know what I'm saying, keep you a captive. You know what I'm saying? To not allow the past to be able to create heavy yokes and chains upon you. You know what I'm saying? Just know that it takes a day by day process, and the fact that you keep getting up to show up for the fight, you know what I'm saying, you're that much more closer to the victory, right? And the same thing, you know what I'm saying, for my sisters, that it's not easy, you know what I'm saying, for some of y'all, to those who have children and those who do not, you know what I'm saying, for the ones who do have children, it's not easy to be in a world of where so many things are tainted, and you know what I'm saying, so many things are set apart, you know what I'm saying, and against you, in order for you to not be able to flourish or be the person that you're truly trying to be, you know what I'm saying, that you desire to be, because there's a lot of things that try to hold you down, or, you know what I'm saying, a lot of anchors, you know what I'm saying, that play a major part in your lives, you know what I'm talking about, as you're being pulled from many different directions with the things that you have, as far as with businesses, your children, with you trying to, you know what I'm saying, cope with the little girl that's inside of you, you know what I'm saying, especially with the grown woman that you are, and fights that you battle, you know what I'm talking about, endlessly, you know what I'm saying, that not too many people see. And the same thing for those who do not have children, right? You know what I'm saying, it's not an easy battle, you know what I'm saying. There's things that you deal with, you know what I'm saying, issues from the past, you know what I'm talking about, trying to grow, especially in a world that is being kind of, you know what I'm saying, psyoped, or designed for a lot of people to be dormant and stagnant, you know what I'm talking about, within themselves and everything like that. So the realm of the, you know what I'm saying, of the enemy can be able to try to persevere over you, you know what I'm saying, but you have the victory, most definitely. And so the fact that you continuously get up and you continuously go towards the direction, continuously go towards the direction of motivating, you know what I'm saying, looking for things to help motivate you, for you to spend time with yourself, you know what I'm saying, and time with the Father, most definitely, you know what I'm saying, giving it up to the Lord, you know what I'm saying, submitting yourselves and being able to be open and humbled, you know what I'm saying, via the things that help the Most High to be able to work inside of you, you know what I'm saying, and develop a better character, better integrity, a stronger woman, you know what I'm saying, that you are, most definitely does not go unnoticed, you know what I'm saying. So I'm proud of you, definitely, right? So with that being said, right, I named this Because You Exist, right? So I see that there's a few people that, you know what I'm saying, continuously get attacked, right? And as they continuously get attacked from many different directions, the people that are attacking you are attacking you because you exist, right? So first and foremost, give me one moment. I want to eat one of these little cashews. Okay, so because you exist, people will tend to get jealous of who you are. They will tend to try to attack you, you know what I'm saying, to trotting up on you, you know what I'm saying, to like downcast you, and they'll try to exalt themselves above you, right? When a person exalts themselves above you, you know what I'm saying, and does not want to give you acknowledgement, but yet they still give you acknowledgement. All right, so what I mean by this is that people cannot like you, right? They won't support anything that you do. You know what I'm saying? And as they don't support anything that you do, you know what I'm talking about, they'll mess around and continue to try to, you know what I'm saying, make it seem like that you are a nothing factor in their lives. So that way it can seem to you, you know what I'm saying, as you're a nothing factor, right? Now, whenever you don't have confidence in who you are, you know what I'm saying, in understanding of whose you are, then it becomes a lot more easier for the enemy to be able to take effect, and then allow him to bond with you through the traumatic experience of who you were, in order for him to give you suggestive imagination, only for you to fall in line with the things that he's using other people to try to portray, to make you feel like that you are not worthy, or that you are worthless, or that, you know what I'm saying, that you're just not great enough or good enough to be able to achieve and accomplish and tackle those goals, and to be able to achieve the victory which has been set, you know what I'm saying, which is also preordained in your life, right? From before birth, you know what I'm saying, you already had a designed mission for you to be preordained into, you know what I'm saying, prestige manner, right? So when you realize this, you know what I'm saying, those people still go out of their way to try to make it seem like that you are not acknowledged. For them to do this is a form of acknowledging you. So this is what I mean, right? It's because if it had not been a issue, or you had not been somebody that because you exist, then you wouldn't live rent free in their mind. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't try to invade your space to disagree on anything, you know what I'm saying, as far as if you just be yourself and you do your own post about certain things and they jump on there to disagree with you, you know what I'm saying? It would be more of them, you know what I'm saying, supporting in the things that they agree with you with, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, giving you a like or acknowledgement, you know what I'm saying, to keep pushing you forward, you know what I'm talking about, and challenging you to be a better person, right? Now, also, in these times that we are living in, a lot of people don't like to be challenged. You know what I'm saying? But within the challenges comes growth. I can speak about that all day, most definitely. Because had I not been challenged, I would not have became the person that I am, and become the person that I am becoming, right? And so, because I accept my challenges and I take them on the chin and everything, and you know what I'm saying, I've learned many different ways of fighting these challenges. Not everything has to be a physical, you know what I'm saying, there's more in the spiritual. As I've already said, things already happen in the spiritual before they have already happened in the natural realm, right? And so whenever we really understand this key point, then, you know what I'm saying, we start to learn to adapt the proper, you know what I'm saying, fighting defensive mechanisms, you know what I'm saying, in their corrective manner, right? Instead of being able to try to use those things of negative connotations and aspects of how we used to use in order to defend ourselves, right? So for an example, as we grew up, a lot of us have grown up, you know what I'm saying, in environments or households, you know what I'm talking about, where we end up having to roast each other or whatever, you know what I'm saying, is like a form of, you know what I'm saying, being able to develop a shield and a sword, right? Okay. So as we have done this to be able to develop that shield and that sword, it's just like if somebody cuts you down, then we develop the mentality of, okay, well, I'm going to go lower and I'm going to cut you lower, right? So a person can be like, well, you know what I'm saying, you're not attractive. So then you like, oh yeah, well, this is why you don't get these type of people to date you, or nobody likes you, or you smell, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So many different things that we would try to do in order to chop the next person down, to make ourselves appear that we're over that person. Now, throughout life, whenever you learn the corrective way, you know what I'm saying, of fighting certain battles, you know what I'm saying, you realize that you don't have to really give in to the same situations, right? It's just like the thing about the snake and the eagle, right? So the snake is something that basically slithers on the floor. It's dangerous in its environment. it's a lot more lower than the eagle. The eagle flies high, but the eagle is also a hunter as well. Both of these things are predators, right? You know what I'm saying, in the corrective manner, not in a negative connotation. But the thing about it is that they both fight from their level. So anybody that is lower than you, you know what I'm saying, because we use the term snaking people and everything, because we know that it's spineless and, you know what I'm saying, it slithers, it's really sneaky, crafty, you know what I'm talking about. And so the eagle, you can see it, but at the same time, if you're not paying attention, then the eagle, right? So the eagle, bottom line is that the eagle, if the eagle is in the snake's territory, right, and not paying attention, the snake can overcome the eagle if he bites the eagle, right? So consider yourself the eagle. Now, whenever you have a bird's eye view of the whole scenario, then you are not able to be just on that level. Now, you can raise down to that level, right? Because there's things on that level, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the snake can never get to your level. So this means that because you are the eagle, that you can go high or you can fly low, right? So one of the things in battle is that battling so the eagle battling the snake, you know what I'm saying, mess around and can pick the snake up off the ground, raise it up to a high elevation, and then drop the snake. The snake has no wings. The snake can't fly. The snake is not used to being in the eagle's terrain, you know what I'm saying, in territory. So all it has to do is just, all it can do, my bad, is worry about falling. And as the snake falls, you know what I'm saying, as far as high altitude that the eagle drops the snake from, the snake can die once it hits the bottom, right? So the thing about it is that you have to learn how to continue to soar above certain things, you know what I'm saying, that do not serve you, does not require a response, or does not require you to acknowledge those who pretend like they did not acknowledge you, right? Now, there are certain times that it gets very unnerving, most definitely, where, you know, because there'll be groups of people to do it. But that's another reason why I'm using the eagle, you know what I'm saying, as an example, is because eagles don't fly together. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like pigeons do, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other birds, but the eagle flies by itself, most definitely. You know what I'm saying? Now, it'll fly around other eagles, don't get me wrong. But most times when you see an eagle, it's by itself. You see that? And so in the midst of that, it's flying in its own confidence because it knows what it's capable of, and it does not have to be dependent on other things around it in order for it to be able to do what's best that serves it, right? So that's the same thing as whenever people tend to come against you, is because it's because you exist. So therefore, as you exist, you know what I'm saying, they see your power. They don't want to acknowledge your power because your power makes them jealous, okay? We're going to go a little bit more deeper into this, right? So the fact that your power exists, or the fact that you exist and you have power and confidence and boldness, you know what I'm saying, then you now pose a threat to those who have not truly done the work, or those who cannot get on your level. Anything that's beneath you, you know what I'm saying, will pull you down and try to beat you up with experience. This is the saying, right? Anything that is behind you will try to pull you back. You know what I'm saying? And so whenever we keep this in mind, then we know that this is the atmosphere of the realm of those who be around you, you know what I'm saying, that'll pretend like they with you or whatever, only just so they can try to peer into what you're doing, and for them to try to spew hatred or whatever, you know what I'm saying, in the process. So that way you're not able to grow, right? And in hopes that you do not grow. Because once you grow, then it's like, well, dang, you know what I'm saying, they're growing and they're accelerating and they're excelling, you know what I'm saying, at a level that I'm not able to because they have not done the work, right? And so sometimes one thing as well about the eagle is that as the eagle is learning how to fly, it has to be pushed out of the nest. It has to be pushed into a point of uncomfortability in order for it to learn how to spread its wings and fly, for it to be dependent truly upon itself, you know what I'm saying, as one of the main sources, right, of its own nature. So this is the thing, as what the Most High does with a lot of us, is he will allow us to be in uncomfortable situations in order for us to be able to develop, you know what I'm saying, the knack for flying. So now I use that to spin it around and talk about this is some of the ways that we learn to war. So whenever there are people that come against us, we don't have to just go low and cut these people. The best thing is to keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, I see that you don't like me. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to give you acknowledgement because you don't like me. You know what I'm saying? Because then it goes into you being able to have some type of form of control, or you to feeling yourself, you know what I'm saying, a grandiose idea, you know what I'm saying, that, okay, well, now I am important because this person is important, but I see them as important, but I don't want to give them the acknowledgement that they're important, you know what I'm saying? But now they acknowledge me, this shows that I'm important, so then it gives them a benefit of satisfaction, right? You don't do that. Sometimes it's okay to just be like, you know what, that's cool, you know what I'm saying, you have your opinion, I have mine, you know what I'm saying, respectfully, and so I don't pay you no mind, because your time is the most valuable thing that you can never get back, you know what I'm saying. The way that you pour into others is a privilege. Sometimes people will mess around and be in your atmosphere, you know what I'm saying, and they will not know that the things that you provide, you know what I'm saying, is most definitely a privilege, especially if you are a person of realness, authenticity, you know what I'm saying, genuineness, right? Because those people that see those traits inside of you tend to try to constantly, you know what I'm saying, manipulate those things. Let me give you some free game, right, beloveds? Is that when people tend to do this, then these people really are, they have underdeveloped defensive mechanisms, you know what I'm saying, or my bad, underdeveloped coping mechanisms, okay? So the underdeveloped coping mechanisms that these people embody is a thing of a child. This is why they're called childish, okay? So let me give you the psychology of this. So whenever we are children and we are growing, we are learning to adapt to the world. So we are learning how to be able to, you know what I'm saying, have a way to have our demands met via our parents, right? So this means that as we're babies, because we can't speak the language, then we cry in order for us to get things that we need. We will cry for milk. We will cry when we're uncomfortable because we need to be changed and all this type of stuff. It's not like we're going to be like, hey, I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? We're not able to do that. So we're learning to adapt, you know what I'm saying, into the realm that we're in order for us to be able to get a sense of demand of what we require, right? So now, with keeping that in mind, as we get older, as children, right, then we tend to fuss or do childish antics in order for us to get attention. You know what I'm saying? So as we, you know what I'm saying, do childish antics in order for us to get attention as children, right? You know what I'm saying? We be whiny, or we'll do things that is against the grain in order for us to be able to get that desired attention that we require. You see, then this is our way of trying to get that pull. Now, what this does is, the reason why it's an underdeveloped coping mechanism as we become adults is because some of those people that don't like you or that come against you or whatever have not developed the proper way to be able to get their point across, or be able to get, you know what I'm saying, what they require, you know what I'm saying, within themselves. You know what I'm talking about? Because they still do, this develops a sense of manipulation. You know what I'm saying? Not a sense, but this develops manipulation, right? So because children, you know what I'm saying, have learned to be able to manipulate things, you see, and especially through the things that they have seen within their experience and their atmosphere, they start to use these different type of things as a form of manipulation in order for them to get what they desire, right? Now, keeping that in mind with jealousy, you know what I'm talking about. Give me one moment, hold on. There we go. So keeping that in mind with jealousy, right? Jealousy is really somebody angry and bitter and disappointed about what you have, you know what I'm saying, that they truly desire that they cannot have themselves, right? And so this also goes into them pulling on, you know what I'm saying, the form of, Salakia, pulling on the form of trying to be able to manipulate a situation, manipulate a point of, you know what I'm saying, trying to make things go their way, manipulating a point of control, okay? Because the fact that they want to control shows that something that's outside themselves or other people or whatever, you know what I'm saying, shows that they have a low sense of confidence in self, right? A lot of people who have confidence within themselves don't care about controlling other people. You know what I'm saying? They're too busy worried about being confident in themselves, and just they have things that are in line with, okay, well, this is what I'm trying to do. This is the goal I'm setting. This is what I'm trying to build upon. You know what I'm saying? Now, those who have confidence in themselves also develop a sense of worth, so they know their worth, right? And so those who do not have those things get jealous, and because you exist, they try to go ahead and downcast you, you know what I'm saying, outcast you, play on your top or whatever, in order for them to gain a sense of control, because in their minds it is like a game, but at the same time they don't really know, a lot of them don't really understand why they do it. It's just like you can have people that don't even know you, you know what I'm saying, from a can of paint, right? And because these people don't know you from a can of paint, then they mess around and try to manipulate you, you know what I'm saying, and to try to control you in order for you to be swayed into what you need, what they want you to do, right? So this is why I use the example of a child, right? And this is why I say childish, is because a child, when they're not able to get their way, they will be manipulative, you know what I'm saying? They'll whine, fuss, cause a scene, and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And those parents that allow that to happen also help these people who are now grown adults, grown children, you know what I'm saying, to have developed that underdeveloped, you know what I'm saying, coping mechanism. You see, because they have to cope with reality. So this is why I say it's a coping mechanism. It's because they're coping with reality and they're trying to learn how to control it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a mechanism that they use, right? Those, and let me say this as well, right? So there's two forms of manipulation, you know what I'm saying? There is greedy manipulation and there is manifesting manipulation, right? And because sometimes people look at manipulation and take it as it's just all the way evil, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, you know what I'm saying? But this is the thing. So whenever you understand what I'm saying, those who, all right, so let's say it like this, right? You have the ability to manipulate reality. You know what I'm saying? Time is manipulative. You know what I'm saying? Time and space is manipulative, right? So this is the thing about it is you can manipulate your mind in order for you to do something into growing. This is like a reprogramming of your brain. You know what I'm saying? What you entertain and what you allow through your different gates. You know what I'm saying? Then you allow these things to become a fraction of your reality, and then you can now turn those things into something more. This is another reason why if you want to change the world, you know what I'm saying, you must first change yourself, right? So now you are kind of bending and manipulating reality, right? It says it's let me give you a good you know what I'm saying, example as well, right? I was reading Acts 2, and let me see here. Acts 2 and 44, and it says, well, let me go back a little bit further, right? Let me go Acts 2 and 42, right? So Acts 2 and 42, it says that, and they committed steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread, and in prayers, and fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. Now 44, right? And all that believed were together and had all things common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men as every man had need. And they, continuing daily in one accord in the temple, and breaking of bread in the house, from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising Yahweh and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved, right? Okay, so the reason I say this is because in this verse, it is a form of manipulating the reality. Because of their works and the things that they were showing, that they were doing, now made people be like, oh, wait a minute, there's really something behind this, you know what I'm saying? So now let's try to fall in line, right? because they were changing themselves, they were able to help change other people. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't just change other people by controlling them. They allowed people to see who they were within their walk and the things that were warranted within that walk. So then the other people had a desire, you know what I'm saying, to be able to be like, well, let me go ahead. And you see everybody was able, you know what I'm saying, on one accord, one mind, one heart, you know what I'm saying, in order to be able to feed and fulfill everybody's needs. So it was not anything of somebody trying to outshine somebody or control or whatever, right? So this is the part of that, what I'm saying. So this is what I mean by that, because some people would take it as, oh, well, Salakia, that that you're trying to give a cushion for manipulation. And no, that's not what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Those who already have ears to hear already understand what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference between narcissistic manipulation and positive manipulation. Now, positive manipulation does not mean you're controlling anybody. It just means that you are manipulating your reality. People tend to peer into your reality and see what's going on and what works for you. And then they start to wonder, why is it working for you? Now, let me try it as well. You know what I'm saying? This develops the thing of other people wanting to do a form of emulation. Now, when a person has not done the work, you know what I'm saying, and they're actually jealous of you, then that form of emulation turns into envy and jealousy. So then they want to try to have what you are and who you are, because you exist, for themselves, and don't want you to have it, right? Okay? So keeping this in mind, you know what I'm saying, you learn that because you exist, you now already initially have your own power, right? The Most High allows you to be able to be the experience in your reality, you know what I'm saying, for things to be able to draw near to you or things to go away from you, you know what I'm saying. In another form is that whenever you speak life and death, you know what I'm saying, over your life, oh, I'm not good enough or whatever, you have now manipulated reality, you know what I'm saying, to go against who you are, because you have the authority and the power. You are an heir, you know what I'm saying, to the kingdom. So you are already birthrighted in royalty, right? Within your essence, within your spirit. You see that? So therefore, whenever you have these things that you know, you create boundaries. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to allow people to play on me. It can be times that you stretch yourself thin, where you will mess around and be the person that tries to initiate and try to, you know what I'm saying, speak to a lot of other people and stuff like this. And sometimes people will not value the way that you value yourself, and it'll show. Because then they'll do certain things, like you can respond to them, hey, let's try to do, and they'll act like that, you know what I'm saying, they won't respond to you or whatever, you know what I'm saying, until they're ready. And then once they're ready, then it's like, okay, so they want you to try to stretch yourself thin, which you don't have to do, because we've done that before, you know what I'm saying, in our past. Some of us still do it to this day, you know what I'm talking about. And so the ones that do it to this day, don't stretch yourself thin, you know what I'm talking about, for people that won't even make a bend or a stretch. So when you realize that you are now operating in your power, now this operating in your boundaries and your power, you know what I'm saying, ends up branding and developing, you know what I'm talking about, the factions of respect, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, okay, well, now people have to be able to respect you, otherwise they're not going to be in your space. You see that? So keeping that in mind, right? Now, another thing is I wanted to read is because I seen this as well, because you exist, right? So in in Acts 2, there was something I came across, right? Which was, I'm going to say 2:31, and it says that, well, let me go to 30, you know what I'm saying? So Acts 2:30 says, therefore, being a prophet and knowing that Yahweh has sworn an oath to him that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he would raise up Christ Hamashiach to sit on his throne. Seeing this before, spake of the resurrection of Hamashiach, that his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption. This Jesus, this Yeshua, had God raised up, right? Wherefore, we all are witnesses. Okay? Now, the thing that I seen in this is it didn't say just, it didn't say Jesus or Yeshua, you know what I'm saying, had God raised up, right? It says this, which is a specification. So it means that this one, right? So it's just the same thing as a person being like, okay, many of us have same names as other people. So it'll be like this one or that one, you know what I'm saying, is the one that I'm talking about. So it shows a sign of significance of specific, right? Now, 2 Corinthians 11:4, it says that, for if someone comes and proclaims another Yeshua, whom we did not proclaim, or if you receive a different spirit that you did not receive, or a different good news that you did not accept, you put up with that well enough, right? So it's one of those things that you are coming into agreement with something that, you know what I'm saying, that you allow, that you put up with. So it's on two different things, right? The reason why I'm saying this part is because this is going into because you exist. So because, you know what I'm saying, Yeshua, you know what I'm saying, HaMashiach existed, right? Which they call Jesus. We know that in the Bible, there were multiple different Jesuses. Now, the people be like, okay, well, it doesn't really specify. So think about this, right? We know that there's Jesus Barabbas, there's Jesus ben Ananias or whatever, and Jesus ben Sirach, right? So the fact that we see these different names, right? These are different ones, okay? You can study these. I'm giving you these names for you to study, right? It's not me manipulating or trying to make it fit how it fits. It clearly says this Jesus, right? Okay? So, because in the situation of him and Barabbas, because it says here, Jesus Barabbas, this means that whenever they were with Pilate, you know what I'm saying, and talking about, and he was like, he wanted to let, you know what I'm saying, Yeshua go, but they were like, no, you know what I'm saying, because they consider him Jesus, we want to let Barabbas go, right? So because you exist, there will be people that will seem like you, but not able to do the same things that you are able to do. They will not be able to walk the mile in the calling that the Most High has bestowed upon you, has endowed you with. They will not be able to do the talents that you're able to do. And these people will be mad because they are not able to do the things that you do, and because of who you are, challenges them to be a better person. And a lot of people don't like challenges. But because you have faced those challenges, you know what I'm saying, then expect for people to come against you because you exist. Now, the thing about this as well is that because you exist is a wonderful thing. Because when you realize and operate in your power, in your ability, in your design of the beauty of who you have been created to be, you know what I'm saying, for the world, right? And especially for your family and yourself, you know what I'm saying, then the things that you do as far as with sowing seeds in other people's lives because of your walk and who you are, you know what I'm saying, they end up flourishing, right? They end up growing and other people end up flourishing, and because those seeds have developed in other people, right? Now, this leads me back to the parable where Yeshua, Jesus Christ, right? Yeshua HaMashiach, you know what I'm saying, Yahweh was speaking about the parable of the sowing of the seeds, right? Where he was talking about that there were seeds that were sown on solid ground. There were seeds that were sown, you know what I'm saying. Let me go to this parable. Let me go here. I don't want to paraphrase it. Let me go. Let me see here. Where are we at? Okay. I seen something pop up. I'm like, what is that? So let's see here. Where are we at? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's in Matthew and Mark. Let's go to Matthew. Should be like Matthew 20 something. Talents. That's the two sons. Let's see. Give me one moment. Where we at? Where we at? I think that is in Matthew. Let me see here. Oh, okay. It is Matthew 13. I mean, my 20. I'm like, Matthew 20 something? No, it's not. It's Matthew 13. Okay, so let me see here. So within that parable, it speaks about, let me see here. Where we at? Where we at? Okay, let me see here. So hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and casteth away that which was sown in his heart. Right? And so it says right here that let me see here. One, let's see, a man which sowed good seeds in his field, while the other man slept, and his enemy came and sowed. No, that's not the one. It's back over here. Receive the seed and the story, same. Let me see here. But he received the seed on the stony, onto the stony place. Okay, so therefore it's a hard place, right? Then there's another one that talks about that he had not rooted himself, but endureth for a while, when tribulation and persecution arises because of the word by the offended. Also that he received the seed amongst the thorns. So the thorns, the solid ground, you know what I'm saying, the good soil, right, and the thistles. Okay. And so the thing about it is that within this parable is within the heart, as it clearly explains it, you know what I'm saying, that the soil is the person's heart. So there are people that whose hearts, Salakia, are basically the solid ground, you know what I'm saying, and with it being with it being the stony ground, you know what I'm saying, it's like a representative of people who profess the light with the word, but their heart is not changed. You know what I'm saying? When troubles arise, you know what I'm saying, their faith quickly disappears. So these will be people that will proclaim and act like that they, you know what I'm saying, are for you or for the word or whatever, you know what I'm saying, but then as soon as troubles arise, then they'll mess around and they'll leave you, and you know what I'm saying, they'll mess around and be like, hey, well, it's just me versus the world. You know what I'm saying, right? In selfishness. Another one is within the thorny ground, you know what I'm saying. The thorny ground represents people who seem to receive the word, right, but whose heart is full of riches, pleasure, and lust, and they have no time for the word, right? And so they will end up, thank you, I remember this too, thank you. All right, because there's something else I'm going to say after this. And he was like, make sure you remember that. All right, so on the thorny ground, you know what I'm saying, people will be like, okay, well, I trust the allures of the life, you know what I'm saying, so therefore, the word, I can't do nothing with the word, you know what I'm saying, the money and all this type of stuff is what I require, what I need, you know what I'm saying, and all this. Now, depending on what you do with it, most definitely, but some people don't have, you know what I'm saying, a sense of being having the proper balance, you know what I'm saying, within having, you know what I'm saying, the word, and then also the things, and able to put the word into play in their life with the finances or the you know what I'm saying, avenues that they have, you know what I'm saying, to be able to help encourage others and stuff like this, right? Because they're all about themselves. So then whenever turmoil comes or whatever, you know what I'm saying, they don't have time for the word. They don't want to do the practices. The other one is you know what I'm saying, is the hand-packed soil, you know what I'm saying, from the path, which represents people who don't understand teaching about the kingdom of heaven. The evil one steals it away, right? So there's a lot of people who we will profess to say that they are asleep, right? They're sleepwalking. So then, therefore, they hear certain things and they don't really want to dive deep into the journey and really be able to peer up on their own lives and see what it truly is, you know what I'm saying, because they like to either be spoon-fed or they already have this idea where it's like, well, I already know it all, you know what I'm saying. So therefore, whenever you sow into them, then they don't really want to give you the benefit of the doubt. They don't want to believe in what you have going, you know what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing like with the word, right? So I'm saying that is, consider yourself being the word in somebody's life, right? And so they like, yeah, I'm rocking with you, but you know what I'm saying, the pleasures and the lust and the riches and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, they'll put those things over you. This is the thorny ground people that you know what I'm saying, it's because their heart is this type of soil, you know what I'm saying, because they grew up seeing certain things and it's like, okay, well, this is how I learned to adapt when this works for me, fine. So therefore, I don't require to need the word, you know what I'm saying, or I don't require to need you or your approval or your love, you know what I'm saying, because I put now my approval and my gratification and all these other things. So now whenever you start to make me feel uncomfortable in those things and make those things seem powerless, you know what I'm saying, then now you make me feel inadequate. So therefore, because you exist and because you are walking in your truth and your truth is interceding, you know what I'm saying, with my truth, and it's making my truth look fallacy, then, you know what I'm saying, they don't want you to exist. They don't like you. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing that they do because they don't know you, but it's just something about you that triggers them, right? Now, even with good soil, you know what I'm saying, those with good soil, right, is it represents people who hear the message and live it in their lives, right? And they have a strong faith and remain dedicated, you know what I'm saying, for a holy, righteous lifestyle, right? So to be upright, you know what I'm saying? So those who have, one thing that shows right here is that those who live it in their lives. This is why I say those who have not done the work will hear you a lot differently than somebody who has truly done the work. So this is another reason why you can expect for you to be rejected by family members, by friends and stuff like that, because they have grown into, you know what I'm saying, a mental state of where they don't really want to change. They don't really want to change for the better, because the familiar spirits through generational curses and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, have been so much on them throughout their lifetime. It's become a normalcy. It's a common thing for them, and it has provided comfort for them. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing that has empowered them, and through this empowerment is a fake power. You know what I'm saying? So this is another reason why the Most High sends strong delusions to those who operate in those things. It's because he's like, okay, well, I love them, but I'm going to allow them to go into their delusion until, you know what I'm saying, they're able to awaken from their state. But I will use you to help them wake, because you are the seeds that are being sown into these people's lives. And it's because you exist that I'm using you to help sow the seeds, you know what I'm saying, because I'm using you as the proof. But you have to continue to endure. And the more and more that you endure and that you succeed is going to be the more and more that other people are going to be reminded of, dang, well, I probably can, you know what I'm saying, because it's just like a person laughing at a person, or people laughing at a person who, you know what I'm saying, has never been to the gym at first, but then they stay consistent. And so they start getting stronger. They start developing muscle mass and everything like that until they start looking like something that's like, well, dang, okay. Now they want to be like, okay, well, so what did you do? You know what I'm talking about? Whenever you was, so how'd you get these, and how'd you mess around, and you know what I'm talking about? So it's that type of ordeal, right? And this is the thing it is with you in your life, within your development. You know what I'm saying? As you develop and continually grow and evolve, you know what I'm saying, spiritually, because then the body follows. You see? So that's the thing. Another thing that I was going to say that he reminded me of was this, right? Is that people will be so lost inside themselves and so angry and upset and disappointed with who they are that they will tend to try to, as a form of manipulation, they will hurt themselves to hurt you. These people are lost. This is an outcry because they are lost, but they do not know how to be able to transmute it, you know what I'm saying, in its corrective appropriation. So they'll use everything that's outside of them, which is called, or they'll blame everything which is outside of them as an excuse, which is called projecting, right? So therefore they will project. So it's just like that, because once you tell people or you show people that you care genuinely, you know what I'm saying, they will try to go ahead and hurt themselves in order for them to hurt you because you care, right? What do I mean by this, right? Is that you can mess around and say that, you know what I'm saying, you are walking in the faith, you know what I'm talking about, you're walking in righteousness, that you believe in the Most High Yah, right? And so because they see that and they know that you care for them, then they'll be like, you know what, well, I'm gonna go do witchcraft, I'm gonna jump into witchcraft or whatever, you know what I'm saying, just to try to be able to, like, get you to kind of get you to say something, or to give them some type of form of acknowledgement, you know what I'm saying, just because they want to see if they can get you to, because they're trying to spin an angle, they're trying to spin a narrative in your life, you know what I'm saying. This is how evil entities, demons, usually use people in order for them to get you to be drawn near unto them, right? Is that, oh, okay, I know that you love your child, or I know you love your friends, or I know you love your family, so therefore they're going to deny you, they're going to reject you, they're going to do the opposite of what you know is the righteous way, in order for them to be like, well, no, to make you feel like that you're wrong, you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, because we have this tendency to want to try to save everybody, you know what I'm saying, which is not our job, you know what I'm saying, to save everybody. That's the Most High's job to do so. But it's our job to be able to sow seeds, and it's our job to try to be the light in people's darknesses, for them to be able to shine a light amongst themselves, you know what I'm saying, and see that the inner light within, you know what I'm saying, is greater is he who is within us, you know what I'm saying, than he who is of the world, right? And so they will mess around and dabble into all kind of extra stuff just for you to try to throw a raft for them, or a lifesaver, you know what I'm saying, for them to be able to grasp onto, to bring them back into the ship, you know what I'm saying. But what ends up happening is that when they do that, they end up cursing themselves in you know what I'm saying, the storms that they are developing, or that they end up invoking, you know what I'm saying, amidst themselves, you know what I'm saying, just to try to hurt you. They end up really hurting themselves. So it'll be like you walking in the faith and they're like, okay, well, I want to go into a false, you know what I'm saying, religion because you seem like you're in a religion. It's like, well, I'm not in a religion, you know what I'm saying, because we know that the Most High, that we know that Yeshua, you know what I'm saying, speaks against religions, right? It's about spirituality. It's about, you know what I'm saying, a lifestyle. It's about being able to have a connection of intimacy with the Father. You know what I'm talking about? For you to be able to be submissive unto the Father, because the Father has been submissive unto you via our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which was a covenant, you know what I'm saying, to be able to be a service of us. So whenever we walk in his righteous ways and we end up keeping his laws, then it works for everybody. You know what I'm saying? If we don't steal from each other, if we don't slander each other, if we love each other, you know what I'm saying? If we don't put anything above the Most High, then life really will operate in the way that it needs to operate in. You know what I'm saying? There won't be no term for jealousy because you know who you are and whose you are, so you won't worry about what the next person got. You wouldn't starve yourself with a full plate looking at somebody else's plate, not paying attention to your plate. You will know what you have on your plate, you know what I'm saying, and they would know what they have on their plate. And if it's something that, you know what I'm saying, you would want to be able to kind of experience, they have no problem with sharing, just like you would have no problem with sharing. You see that? Because we're all to be, you know what I'm saying, in harmony. You see, we're all to be in loving kindness with each other. You know what I'm saying? We're to be all in you know what I'm saying, assembly with each other. You know what I'm saying? One mind, one heart. You know what I'm saying? Now, we don't all have to think the same. That's not what that means, but it means that we all stand in agreement upon one thing, that we all want peace and love. So therefore, the things that we know, that we desire, and that we require, you know what I'm saying, we're willing to pour those things into somebody else who is able to reciprocate those things. This is why a lot of relationships go sideways. Is because people tend to want to be the ones who control the relationship or the narrative, you know what I'm talking about, of the relationship, right? And as they're the ones who want to control the narrative of the relationship, then it doesn't go that way, because people get tired, they get drained. Okay, well, I don't have to stretch myself thin just for me to keep you. You see that? It's like, okay, well, show me some love. You know what I'm saying? It's times that I always catering to you and, you know what I'm saying, running your bathwater, praying over you. Sometimes I might need prayer. You see that? It's one of those type of ordeals, right? When dealing with people. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'll go the extra mile for you, but just show me that, you know what I'm saying, you will at least go a few yards or feet for me. You know what I'm saying? And then people don't want to do that. It's like you'll bend over backwards when people won't even stretch for you, right? So this is another reason why certain things don't work. And this is why the Most High will allow their situations to work out the way that it works out, in order for them to be able to understand, you know what I'm saying, the situation, and also have their own experience for them to later on be able to grow and mature, you know what I'm saying, if they're willing to do so, to put in the actions, right? If they're able to have their heart softened, for their heart to be great, good soil. You know what I'm talking about? So if their heart is good soil, then that means that the seeds that were sown also have to have a time that they can be able to develop and grow and sprout, you know what I'm saying? And then therefore they bring forth good fruit. And we know what the good fruit is, so that means that the good fruit is able to be shared amidst everyone else, right? Those who are not is going to get choked out with all the other things, so therefore it has no time to grow, and so therefore they will end up staying consistently in the stagnancy, you know what I'm saying, of those things which they do not desire. But because you exist, you know what I'm saying, you will be a mirror to remind them of that, but they will end up being mad or whatever, so they're going to come against you, or they're going to feel like whatever. But like I said, not a lot of people like to be challenged. So therefore, if you accept challenges and you are a person that you challenge yourself, you know what I'm saying, because sometimes people think that challenging them is a form of disrespect. If that's the case, then people would think that they were being disrespected by themselves when they challenge themselves to do better daily. You know what I'm talking about? It'll be like, okay, well, I challenge myself to do better daily. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like my eating habits, I challenge myself to go ahead and eat more healthy. Or because, I don't like my mindset towards society, I challenge myself to start thinking more positively, to think more healthy, you know what I'm saying? Because it's hard for me to, you know what I'm saying, be able to care for other people, then I challenge myself to be able to be that person that I needed whenever I was younger, you know what I'm saying, in order to grow into this person, and I can be able to be this for other people who didn't have a person like me, or be this for the inner child that I have inside of myself, you know what I'm saying, so my inner self can be able to be proud of who I am, and I can be proud of myself, right? So when you see this type of thing, when you realize this, then it means that to be challenged is not something that is always a negative connotation. But a lot of people don't really like to be challenged. You know what I'm saying? But we learn that through you know what I'm saying, poor parenting skills. Because our parents will be like, sometimes if you as a child know that there's something that's right and you're telling your parent, you know what I'm saying, some of us grew up in households where it's like, who you talking back to or whatever, whenever they know you was right, but they didn't want to be humble enough to be like, you know what, you right, you know what I'm saying, or you end up having your own, you start to develop your own mentality, you know what I'm saying, of how you think things should go, and they'll be like, oh, well, no, that's stupid, or who are you to think that, and all this type of stuff, instead of asking you, well, why do you think these things, you know what I'm saying, what brought you to that conclusion, you know what I'm saying, what made you think that, or what, you know what I'm saying, influenced you to do so, you know what I'm saying, to be able to formulate a safe space in a spectrum of where, you know what I'm saying, you can now develop the proper mechanisms, you know what I'm saying, in order for you to be a person that is not so offended, you know what I'm saying, in the spirit of offense, with growing into the proper direction. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's like, okay, well, that, so then they start to become, if it's not going in that direction, then those who have been a victim turn into the things that have victimized them, right? So it's like they end up having children, and it's like, oh, you talking back, shut up, or you know what I'm saying, all this type of stuff. I don't hear none of that, and so you just, instead of just pouring into them and being like, oh, okay, cool, because this now actually is a thing that actually grows the child's mental, you know what I'm saying, into the proper direction, because it teaches them confidence in themselves to be able to speak up as well. So as they grow, they don't go into situations, scenarios dependent upon somebody else's opinion. They don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, trying to be able to be accepted in social circles, you know what I'm saying, because they feel something a different way, or they feel opinionated about something, and it's a conflict of interest in you know what I'm saying, the directives and direction of everyone else who was around in that social circle, you know what I'm saying. They now are able to walk into their own individuality, you know what I'm saying, confidently and boldly. But this is what the Most High does with us. This is why we have to learn how to be able to war appropriately. You see that? So sometimes people will try to draw you into battle. Some fights are not worth fighting, beloved. Some fights are just how they are. You just have to allow it, you know what I'm saying, and don't pour into it. And that's another thing, because some people have a problem because they have a problem with being able to allow things to be. So instead of allowing things to be, they want to try to dictate certain outcomes of a situation. Well, it needs to go this way so I can feel like that I won. Give it to the Most High. When you give it to the Most High, you know what I'm saying, then, you know what I'm saying, it says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, right? So as you give it to the Most High, you know what I'm saying, then he knows how to vindicate you the way that you need to be vindicated. He will mess around and put people in situations and scenarios to where you will see, you know how many times people have done me a certain type of way, right? And he has placed them in my shoes in that certain time, you know what I'm saying, in certain time for me to be able to see it. I never thought I was going to be able to see it, you know what I'm saying, but he ended up, right? So I've told this story before to people physically, right? You know what I'm saying? Not here in the digital realm, right? Is I had worked for this company before when I was younger, in my 20s, right? And so I was doing junior underwriting, and what was it? I came from like a mortgage loan company into another one, right? I didn't have the experience, you know what I'm saying, but it was the Most High had just guided me through these things because of who I knew and stuff like that, had put me in positions, right? Because of who I was, because I existed, right? So aside from that, because I ended up kind of learning something, I ended up developing a certain skill set, how to do certain things. So they soaked up game from me on how to do these things, only for them to let me go, right? So once they let me go, you know what I'm saying, my oldest child's mother, you know what I'm saying, was at the time we were together, and so she was pregnant, you know what I'm saying, with my first son, right? And so she was pregnant and they ended up letting me go from the job, you know what I'm talking about. Then I felt mad because, you know what I'm saying, I was not able to provide. I felt like the enemy had just robbed me of something when I'd done nothing wrong to these people, right? And so I ended up going into the car, and instead of me losing my mind on those managers and, you know what I'm saying, being irate and all this type of stuff, you feel me? I went into the car and I just prayed, and I was like, man, just, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, talking to him, just, hey, I need you to defend me because you know that was wrong. You seen that, and that's wrong, you know what I'm saying. They're trying to take away from what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to be an upstanding, solid person, you know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to go into the ways of wickedness of what I once dabbled into. I'm trying to grow and be somebody that you had that you put me on the path to be able to do so. I need you to vindicate me, right? So I think it was like 3 years later, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3 years later, from that situation, that same company that I had worked for, I seen on the news that that company went bankrupt. That company is now no more. You see that? So the Most High will, if the Most High can move a mountain of a company for just one person like me, imagine what he can do for you in your situations and your scenarios. You know what I'm saying? He will allow those enemies he will set a table, he will prepare a table, you know what I'm saying, for you before your enemies. You know what I'm saying? He will make your enemies your footstool. Your enemies will be your footstool because you will end up needing to step on these enemies, you know what I'm saying, in order for you to get to the next level. But if you give in to the things that, you know what I'm saying, is of toxicity, or the things of fighting a person at their own level, you know what I'm saying, then you will only stagnate yourself and you will not be able to show you the form of growth. There's two tests that always happens. How you treat people is a return of your own karma of how what will come back around to you, and how people treat you is a return of their own karma of what's going to come back to them in a situation. So if there's a person treating you like something and you allow it to be dismissed and stuff like that, and you continue to grow and elevate, then what do you think is coming towards you, and what do you think is coming towards them? But whenever you they end up pulling you into their situation and then making you fight the way that they fight, what do you think is coming to you? You see that? So that's how the enemy works. The enemy will use people and use things, you know what I'm saying, to try to draw that up out of you, so that way you can war in the manner of wickedness, the manner of the enemy, you know what I'm saying, instead of warring in the manner of righteousness. Knowing that certain things are tests, of course we all fall short, most definitely. You know what I'm saying? It's times where it's people that do certain things and I'm like, man, but I have to catch myself. Because that's the thing, is that you continually develop something of being like, okay, now I have power to myself. I'm not going to give you this. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, you played me. You did that. That's cool. You did your big one on me. You got down on me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to allow you to be able to have that opportunity again. You know what I'm saying? Most definitely. Because I've learned from that situation, because I was challenged. I didn't hate the challenge. You know what I'm saying? The thing that we deal with the most is not the challenge, you know what I'm saying, of the situation. It's the person who does it to us. Because you have adoration, or you have a form of respect or love, you know what I'm saying, for the people who do certain things. But the Most High uses those people because he already says, put not your faith in man. Put your faith in me. Because there's times that man will fail you, but because people try to use certain things to gratify themselves amidst the people that they do, you know what I'm saying, then now you are given this whole circle of people your power. So therefore you're not going to go no further than what these people will allow you to in their minds, you know what I'm saying, because you want to be validated from these people, and you are praising these people and their ideologies of you when you don't have to do that. You see that? This is another reason why it ties back into what I was saying in the beginning, why eagles fly alone. The eagle has confidence in its own wings. So know what your wings are in life. And because you exist, know your ability and your power. Because you exist, they're going to try to go ahead and dismiss you or whatever because you exist. But also because you exist and you are continuously being you, somebody else's life will end up being changed, and you can develop, and you can be able to encourage them, and their life will change, you know what I'm saying? And they will be able to change other people's lives because you exist. Because they realize they exist. So just keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? I just want y'all to be encouraged. You know what I'm talking about? I thank y'all, you know what I'm saying, for giving me y'all time, most definitely, you know what I'm saying. I'm finna head out. But I just kind of wanted to drop that to y'all, you know what I'm saying, so y'all can be able to tap in, most definitely. Because there's parables within this, you know what I'm saying, what I'm speaking about. And there are situations of people who are in just the government and stuff like this because you exist. Because we know who there are certain people where things come against us, you know what I'm saying, and because you exist. So I need you to think about this on all different scales. In your personal life, how it is with society, you know what I'm saying, how you are within you know what I'm saying, uh what's that? Societal circumference, you know what I'm saying? So from you interacting with your family, from you interacting with society, from you being a part of a nation, you know what I'm saying, for you being a person in the world, how certain things come, because also with you being a person of the world and you being a child of the Most High, the enemy hates you for that because you exist. And the enemy wants to do nothing but try to take you out of existence and to make you believe that you don't exist or that you don't matter at all, in order for him to be able to gain legal access into your domain, which he has no authority to do so. Right? So with that, I bid adieu. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? The Most High loves y'all even more. You know what I'm saying? The Lord loves y'all most definitely even more. Right? So I'll be back, you know what I'm saying, until next time. So be encouraged, you know what I'm saying, and know that you are loved and that I'm proud of you, you know what I'm saying, and I'm grateful for each and every one of y'all, you know what I'm talking about, who really have, you know what I'm saying, that same reciprocity of what I'm, you know what I'm saying, showing y'all, you know what I'm talking about, that's on here and in the real world, you know what I'm saying, most definitely, because it's a lot of us that we speak in certain languages to each other, and we know who we all are. You know what I'm saying? We're all a tribe of family. You know what I'm saying? We are a nation of new. You know what I'm saying? We are the new era. You know what I'm talking about? So stay encouraged. You know what I'm saying? You are all beautiful people. And I love y'all most definitely. You know what I'm saying? So stay prayed up. I'm going to keep y'all in my prayers. Keep me in yours. You know what I'm saying? Most definitely. Stand strong, you know what I'm saying? Walk in the faith. Blessings to you and your family. You know what I'm talking about? Favor and protection over you and your family. Most definitely. So, shalom, shalom. Peace.